Hi, amigas. Welcome back to another episode of the Daily Cafecito. Hi girls, welcome back to another video. If you're watching this on YouTube, or just welcome back to another episode. I am so excited for today's topic, as I am for every single topic that I talk about. I'm a very passionate girl, okay? I love the things that I talk about. I love all the scenarios and just the stuff that we get to talk about here on this platform. If you are new here, my name is Daisy. You can follow me on Instagram at Cafecito con Daisy G, or TikTok, just Cafecito con Daisy. And if you are new to my platform, I love sharing all things wellness, women empowerment, just different ways that you can grow and excel in your life, career, relationships. Just we're all about growth here, girls. So if that is what you're into, make sure you guys subscribe to my channel and check out my podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcast or anywhere that you listen to your podcast on. So anyways, you guys, let's just go ahead and get right into today's episode. We are starting to get into the territory of seasonal depression, or just getting into those winter blues. As you guys know, I feel like throughout like the beginning of the year, or the first couple months of the year, we are always on like go, go, go type of mode. Like we are just very focused on achieving those goals and achieving like all of those resolutions that we set for ourselves in the beginning of the year. But I feel like towards the ending of the year, we're kind of like very much burnt out. And sometimes I think it's very unintentional. And it's just because the beginning of the year, you're like the most focused, the most determined. And then like cuando llega like the ending of the year, you're getting very tired. And it just starts to become like very repetitive, and you want to catch a break, which I think is important. I think it's important to really hustle like the first few months of the year for you to be able to earn that downtime, but the thing that sucks, I feel like, about slowing down throughout the ending of the year is that you can start getting into seasonal depression and just feeling just very unmotivated and unproductive. And I kind of want to share with you guys just a few tips and a few little things that I've learned in the past about like how to really battle that and overcome it and not allow yourself to get into a funk during the holidays, you guys. And I think one of the main things for me is making sure that I stick to a routine. Like I don't let myself fall off the wagon like all the way, but I do give myself a lot of grace, because I think that's important. We have to have the time to be able to just enjoy the moment, you guys, and not be so worried on our goals and achieving this and doing that. Like if I want to have this life, I have to be doing that. And I know for me personally, that's how my brain works, you guys. Like I am a very productive person. Like not even productive, but I just like I have to be working towards what I want to do like every single day. Like if you guys ask my husband, dude, I have been having, kind of to give you guys a little bit of a backstory so I don't get sidetracked, but lately, I have felt very, very, very overwhelmed. And as you guys know, I just started a new job, and it's been taking a big toll on me, you guys, because it's a lot of like new information and I'm grasping onto it. The only thing that I'm really like struggling with is setting up a routine that works for me, my content creation, my podcast, and my personal future goals, and it's been very difficult. And my husband's like, he's like literally in the audience, like just watching me, and he's like, dude, you put so much pressure on yourself. Like you are just always like go, go, go. And it's funny because, okay, so little TMI, I guess, but we were literally like sitting on the bed, and he was like massaging like my back, right? He's like, just relax. And as he's telling me that, I'm over here like, oh, but I have to do this. Like I have to get ready for this. I have to do that. And he's like, bro, I'm literally telling you to relax, and you're over here like counteracting what I'm telling you. And I started cracking up because I caught on to that. And I'm like, dude, I don't know how to take a chill pill. Like I do not know how to relax. And I think that's why sometimes the ending of the months kind of give me or the ending of the year kind of gives me anxiety, because I'm like, I feel like I want to slow down, but like my subconscious is like, absolutely not. Like if you slow down, you're not going to reach your goals. You're not going to become the person that you want to become. You're not going to reach your full-time career goals. Like pretty much to me, like when I think of slowing down, it scares me, because I feel like I'm just like holding myself back, or I'm wasting time, if that makes sense. But I've been really working on setting a mindset that like I also need to enjoy my life. Like I need to live in the present moment and be. And lately, you guys, I've just been in such a vibe where I'm like, I love my life. Like, I fucking love where I'm at right now. I love the process of growing my platform, learning a new job, like starting to kind of climb a little corporate ladder, which obviously that's a whole different conversation, you guys. But I'm just like loving being where I am, that I don't want to fall into that whole seasonal depression thing because girl, I feel like that's just it's not fun. And I feel like in the past years it has definitely happened to me every single year, and this year at least for me right now, I feel like I would have already started to kind of get into that mood, and I haven't, thankfully. And a few things that I want to share with you guys that I think that have really helped me is just learning to be so present and being organized. I feel like when you set yourself a lot of times for when to have fun, when to really sit down and get work done, because half of the times, you guys, the things that stress us out and, start making us feel overwhelmed are things that we can finish in 5 minutes, and we just keep pushing them back, that later we start to really feel pressured because we just didn't take the 5 minutes to sit down and do that. And I'll give you guys an example. So I have had this content that all I need to do is just edit it. I already filmed the content, but I just need to submit it. I know that I have to do it, and I know that it's going to be so quick. Like it won't take me not even like 10 minutes to probably edit it and like submit it. But in my head, I make it seem like it's much more work than it really is. So then I procrastinate. And then later it starts to add up onto other tasks that I have to get done. So then it leads me to getting overwhelmed, to getting stressed out. And then I'm like, I don't have time for nothing. But I just have to really practice, like in that moment, if I think about it and I have the extra 5 to 10 minutes to just get it out the way and take something off my plate, like I need to take action on that, And I think that has really helped me, like making sure that like when I say something or if I think of something and I have the time and I do it at that moment, you guys, it just literally takes off like one less thing that I have to do. And I feel like literally our minds just trick us into thinking that the tasks that we have to get done, you guys, are much harder than they really are. And you have to pay attention. Like you have to pay attention to the way that your brain is really trying to run away from the things that you need to do, and figure out why, or just start to. I was actually listening to a podcast the other day. So this is actually a perfect example, or this is a perfect time for me to share this with you guys. You right now, okay, your present moment, you guys, creates your past. Your past does not create your future. We are literally, girl, the way that this has really shifted my mindset recently when I heard this on the podcast, I'm like, wow. So a lot of the times we're going to start to get into a little bit of trauma, you guys, and like sticking to the past and stuff like that. And I feel like this all has to do with why we end up getting seasonal depression. So most of the time when we're going through life, we reference a lot of the things that have happened to us in the past. Right? And in the past, like, this is why I am who I am because this happened to me, or, this is why I act a certain way because of this certain situation that happened to me in the past. What we don't understand, you guys, is that this present moment that we're currently living in right now is creating that past. Right now, I am not the same person that I was 5 minutes ago. I am not the same person that I was this morning. I'm not the same person that I was last week. I am who I am now in this very second, but in the future, 5 months from now, I am going to reference who I was in this very moment. Does that make sense? So everything that I do right now is how I'm going to reference my past. And dude, I feel like that piece of advice really like me prendió el foco. I was like, dang, like that is so fucking crazy. Like I feel like I'm no longer like thinking of things that happened to me in the past or different situations and scenarios and things like that I would make as an excuse as to who I am today, because now I'm like, no, like who I am today is going to create my past for me. So later in the future, when I reference my past, this girl, me right now, is what I'm going to think about. So I'm like, I feel like that's just like the perfect way to think about it. And it made me feel so motivated, you guys. And I feel like that's such a good way to really think about when we're starting to get into the ending of the year, is that this is a year that we are going to change that whole habit, because I feel like that seasonal depression, you guys, is very much a habit. And then once we get comfortable, and that's why we look for it every single year unintentionally. And of course, this happens like subconsciously, right? Like obviously we're not like out here looking to start getting in a funk, start feeling unmotivated, unproductive. Like it just happens. And it's literally our body is just so used to getting into that seasonal depression towards the end of the year that it becomes a habit. So this is a year, you guys, we are creating our present moment. We are creating our past in our present moment right now. So what we're going to do this year, you guys, we're going to make it a challenge this year. We are not going to allow ourselves to fall off the wagon, but we are going to allow ourselves to live in our present moment, you guys. Life is not that serious. It's all a game. We're all practicing. Like literally failing is okay. It's not that serious, you guys. We're going to enjoy the time that we have at the end of the year with our families. We are going to enjoy the food and not feel guilty about like, dang, I have to work out tomorrow. Like I'm going to gain all this weight. You guys, the amount of pressure that we set on ourselves is not healthy. It is not healthy. And this year in 2023, girl, you and me, what we're going to do is not allow ourselves to get into that funk this ending of the year. We're going to keep continuing, you guys, being who we are, sticking to our same routine that we have had all year with, of course, a little bit of leniency for us to be able to live in the moment, enjoy our family time, enjoy, what the whole season, like the holidays, like what it brings to you guys. Because honestly, I used to hate the holidays. I used to hate the cold. I was a miserable person in the cold. But I feel like the fact that I used to always say, like, I hate the cold, like it makes me miserable, my mind unintentionally clings onto that I start to believe that that's exactly like who I really am, if that makes sense. And that's why I'm like such a firm believer in the way that you speak to yourself. Oh my God, excuse me. And your affirmations, because what you say to yourself, you guys, your brain and your body starts to believe it, because your brain cannot distinguish what's real and what's not. So that's why like me saying like, I hate the cold and it makes me so miserable, my brain starts to truly believe that that's who I am. When in reality, it's like, I can make myself a happy person. Like I can, think of the good with that the winter brings and like the cold brings and stuff. So it's like you yourself are creating your reality by the words that you are saying. Does that make sense? Hold on, you guys. I have a little notebook because I want to, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to forget to mention something to you guys, because I have been lately, one thing that I've been doing is I have a notebook. So throughout the day, I'll start to get like little ideas or like realizations and stuff like that. And this is also a form of like journaling. And as soon as I get that idea, I grab my notebook and I write it down so that I do not forget it. And I think that this is also the best way for me to be able to really like understand the idea that I'm having, and for me to remember it and to grasp onto it. So honestly, I highly recommend you guys. I feel like that's such a good habit. And also too, I feel like this is perfect. It's the same thing as like journaling, but the way that I do it differently is that I am journaling throughout the entire day. Like I am not someone who journals in the morning, or I used to do that, but I feel like it didn't really like work for me. What works for me is to have a journal and just journal when I feel necessary. So like sometimes if I'm feeling overwhelmed, I'll grab my journal and I'll just write down exactly how I'm feeling, because sometimes when you're being overwhelmed, it's just our brains making like our scenarios seem much worse than they are. So sometimes it helps for you to write everything down, and then you go back and reread it and you're like, this girl is dramatic. Like she could figure it out. Like she could do it. So honestly, you guys, I highly recommend just incorporating that habit, because honestly, it has really, really worked for me. Like I have this whole like notebook that I have literally been filling up with all of my notes. And this is actually a notebook from work that they gave me. So yeah, highly recommend. I feel like that's a really good habit to incorporate. So I wanted to share this with you guys, because I've been starting to learn a lot about emotional. Okay. So hold on. There's two skills. Girl, grab your notebook right now, because you're going to want to write this down. So the number one is psychological flexibility. Okay. So you have to learn to be flexible. You guys, as much as we work out our body, we also have to work out our brains and our mindset. So there's also, hang on, I had wrote it down. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Emotional strength. Okay. So I really want to get into this topic, you guys, because I think this is super important, again, for the end of the year. And in general, like, I think this is such a very big topic that I feel like, or a really big thing that everyone should incorporate into their life. Okay, first, let's start off. Your brain and your mindset, you guys, is something that you have to work on consistently. It's just like the gym, but for your brain. Like literally, the way that you work out your body to help it become the best version of itself, your brain and your mindset is the exact same way, right? So that's literally all I advocate for. Like here on my channel, on my platform, like I'm a huge advocate for like treating your brain and your mindset like it's a working and functioning thing. Like you have to work on it. You have to take the time to work on it. You have to reflect, like see what's working, what's not working, because everybody is different. And guys, I feel like this is going to be such a long episode, but it's going to be such a good episode. Okay, so let's go into emotional intelligence, you guys. I feel like this is such a big topic because this is a lot of things, you guys, that I feel like we don't understand. And it's also how we give into that little voice that tells you like, oh, like you could do this later or you could do that. Because this also leads to like being unproductive, not reaching your goals. Like this is a huge, huge thing. So we all have that little voice in our heads that tells us like, you know, oh, you could do this later. Like, oh, you could sleep in 5 more minutes. Like, oh, like that's not very important. It's that stupid little voice, you guys, that tells you like that something is not important when you know consciously that it is not important, because it's our subconscious mind that is that little voice in our head. But we have to learn how to challenge it. And that's how we start to build that emotional strength, you guys. The more that you challenge that voice in your head, the more emotionally strong that you become. So here's a little fun fact, or not a fun fact, you guys, a fun challenge for you to incorporate. When you're going through your day and you know that you want to get something done. So for example, I'm going to give you guys a personal example, just because, yeah, that's all I can think about right now. So my work day, my big thing, you guys, is that I am a morning person and I love to work out in the morning. But my current schedule just doesn't allow me to, not that it doesn't allow me, because I could do it. I would just have to be up at 3:30 to be at the gym by like 4. But it's a lot. And I'm trying to give myself grace and take it easy. So anyways, it's been a huge challenge for me to work out after work because I just get very unmotivated and unproductive. There I am again, using those very negative affirmations that I start to believe that that's who I am. But it's been a challenge, you guys. It's been a challenge for me to get to the gym after work because it's just normally, it's not who I am. It's not how I like to work out. It's not what I have felt has worked for me. So one thing that I've been doing is like when I'm getting off work and that voice in my head starts to tell me like, oh, like you can just try again tomorrow, or maybe you could try to wake up early tomorrow. Like, you know, maybe you can skip the gym today and yada, yada. And keep in mind, you guys, at this point, it's only Tuesday. Okay. I've only made it to the gym on Monday. Like Tuesday is not the time to skip. So what I've been doing is I challenge it. I'm like, girl, my subconscious is telling me what to do. So I'm going to do the complete opposite. So I take my ass to the gym. It's like literally like how I am in person, you guys. Like I hate being told what to do, especially when I already know what needs to be done. So it's like, why do I allow my subconscious or that little voice in my head to tell me what to do and then I actually do it? I'm like, that is so unlike me, like at all. So I'm like, lately I've just been challenging it. Like if it's this random person that wants to see me fail, and that's the person that's talking in my head, and I'll challenge it. I'll be like, bitch, you told me that I cannot go to work, or no, I cannot go work out after work. I'm gonna show you that I can go work out after work. So I think that that's like super important, that you start to build that emotional strength with yourself and learn that you have the power, you guys, to challenge that little voice in your head. Okay, another thing that I want to talk about is psychological flexibility. So this is learning how to shift your mindset. Have you ever felt like, I don't know if you guys have ever done this, but I have done this for sure. Like I have challenged myself. Like it's crazy how if you set your mind to something, like you can make yourself believe something if you really work hard at it. And that's what psychological flexibility is. So pretty much what it is that you can see things from different perspectives, but you can also make your brain believe it. So I'm trying to think of like a really good like example or like a scenario, but it's really just you guys understanding that like, and I feel like a lot of it is also affirmations, because it's like the way that you speak to yourself and the things that you decide to believe is up to you, you know, because you have the strength, you have the emotional strength and the psychological flexibility to be able to build everything that you want or anything that you want, because you just have to set your mind to it and make that mindset shift to be able to make that happen. And again, all of that has to do with, you guys, why we start to get into that seasonal depression, because it's all a mindset shift. It's all about the like your perspective and how you're looking at the end of the year, because a lot of us look at it like it's closing out. And I feel like it's also a very hard time, you guys, because especially now, if you've ever gone through like grief or lost somebody like close to you, the holidays are really, really hard. And that's another thing that I've been really working on, because it's kind of like a reminder, you know, and it's kind of sad because it's something that you spend, like the holidays are, you know, what you spend them with family. You spend them with family, like you get together, like it's just a very big time to be appreciative and reflect on your life and the things that you've done throughout the entire year. And it just kind of gets a little sad, but it's all about building that emotional strength and learning like there's so many more family members, you know, that deserve to have the happiness, you know. And at the end of the day, I feel like what I like to tell myself is that we're all headed the same way, unfortunately, but we all have a life and a purpose and a story to continue to build and continue to live. So it's hard, you guys, and I feel like I don't really have much to talk about that topic, but I did want to bring it up because it is kind of like a challenge that I have been working on with myself. And I feel like right now I'm just in a really good like headspace where I'm trying to figure it all out, but I'm also in a headspace where I'm done being so hard on myself and done like listening to that little voice in my head that just tells me I'm not good enough and that I'm not doing, you know, anything right, or I'm not doing anything to move towards my goals. Like I'm just over it, you know? And another thing, you guys, I wanted to share this with you guys because I have been on I've been very overwhelmed recently. I'm not gonna lie. And I think a lot of it is because I think I am maturing. And I know that you guys have probably seen my last episode where we talk about like a girl's guide to becoming a woman, because we are, at least that's the era that I'm in right now. I'm literally learning to, I don't know, girl, I don't even know. I feel like I'm becoming a woman, like a whole, like I just feel just so mature. Like things that just were important to me before just aren't as important to me anymore. And like right now, like I'm very much on a vibe. Like I'm very picky now. Like if somebody invites me out over the weekend, like crudas, you guys, like all that shit, like I'm over it. Like I went out last night and I took it so chill. I'm like, you know what? Tomorrow I have shit to do that is way more important to me than to freaking sit at home and be cruda all day. Like it's just, you know, and I had that phase and I enjoyed it and it was super fun, like relax. But I'm like, now, like I'm so fucking serious about like the shit that I'm working on, that I'm like, hell no, like I'm not gonna give in to the devil. I'm not gonna give in to, you know, going out because it's fun, it's relaxing, whatever. Like no, like I have shit that I need to prioritize much more than, you know, than going out. And I feel like all that stuff, you guys, it's never gonna end. Like there's always gonna be a party, there's always gonna be something to do. Like you just have to learn to really balance the, you know, what's more important and get your priorities straight, girl. And I feel like that's where I'm at right now. I'm in my era of getting my priorities straight. Like what is it that I'm working on? And it's like if I want to see something flourish, I have to put the work in, you know, and I have to make sure that I prioritize that and that I'm doing something every single day that works towards the goal that I am trying to achieve. So anyways, you guys, let's just make it this year where we are not going to fall into that whole seasonal depression. We are going to be in our present moment that is creating our past. But what we're creating this year, you guys, is that we're not going to get in a funk. We're going to allow ourselves to continue our routine while being present, while still being able to enjoy the time with their family, enjoy the holidays, you guys, and just live a much more slow-paced life. But we're still incorporating a little bit of productivity here and there and making sure that we're still holding ourselves accountable, because even though it's a time for us to slow down and just have fun and enjoy it, we still have goals that we want to reach. And we want to make sure that those are still a priority. And another thing, you guys, we want to also make sure to start incorporating emotional strength and making sure that we're doing stuff that really helps us become strong emotionally and helps us, you know, take accountability and be in control of how we feel and our emotions. And also that psychological, girl, I almost forgot the word, psychological flexibility. And that, again, is where you can see things from the perspective that you want to see them, you guys. Challenge yourself. Challenge that fucking voice in your head that tells you that you are not good enough, that tells you that you can never make anything. Girl, challenge that fucking voice. Like if somebody's telling you what to do and you already know what to do, and that's like me, like that's a pet peeve. Treat it like that little, like treat that voice, you guys, like that bitch over there that just doesn't want you to succeed, okay? That is all I have for you guys today. Oh my gosh, I feel like I had so much to talk to you guys about. But also, before I let you guys go, I did want to share with you guys that I am creating a YouTube video, which actually should be uploaded at this moment. And that is going to be a YouTube video, you guys, that shares all of my affirmations that I say every single morning. And I'm going to pretty much say them, repeat them to you, you guys. And this is going to be more of a video where you can repeat the affirmations after me. And this is set. And my intention with this is for you to listen to it every single morning and kind of get you in a very good headspace to where you're ready to take on your day and you start to really believe those things that you're saying to yourself, and your body starts to believe it, your brain starts to believe it. So it's going to be on my YouTube channel, Cafecito con Daisy. And again, if you guys are listening to this on my YouTube, thank you guys so much. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Use the comments, you guys, like a little way for us to be able to talk to each other, share our ideas, what you agreed with me on, what you didn't agree with me on, or if you have any other tips that you would like to share regarding how to battle like seasonal depression, or how not to get like unproductive, whatever it is, you guys, share it with me in the comments. I love to talk to you guys through there, and it's also a good way for other people to go in and read what you're saying, or even if you share your story, whatever it is, you guys. Treat the comments down below like a good way for us to have a little chat room where we could talk to each other. And yeah, you guys, I hope you guys have such an amazing I was about to say episode. Have such an amazing week, and I am so sorry for my voice. It probably sounds disgusting and I cannot stand it, but I wanted to make sure that I got this episode out for you guys, and I hope you guys have such an amazing week. I hope you guys are having such an amazing October. Happy Halloween, spooky bitches. And I'm so excited to talk to you guys on next week's episode. Make sure you guys leave me a rating. Follow me on Instagram at the Daily Cafecito Podcast. And yeah, you guys have an amazing Monday or whatever day that you're listening to this on. And I will catch you guys on next week's episode. Adios.